One, what up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. We're going to be asking a simple question, which you see the video is already titled. What's wrong with President Biden? What is so undesirable? What would be so undesirable, so unfavorable about seeing President Biden reelected for a second term? Make no mistake about it, President Biden has a hell of a lot of detractors. A lot of folks are not favorable to seeing President Biden get reelected. We often talk about Trump. Today, we're going to do just the opposite. What is so wrong with President Biden? What do you think America would be like if President Biden is reelected, giving the opportunity to serve this country as its commander-in-chief for 4 more years? Is that something you fear? Is that something you favor? That is what we're going to be talking about. What is wrong with a second term, a second coming of President Biden? Many are often, I got folks that had a discussion earlier today. I had someone tell me Vladimir Putin, leader of Russia, would be a better leader than Biden. What the hell? Biden is so low on the scale that some folks, particularly my beloved MAGA, believe that Putin will be a better leader than Joseph R. Biden. So today we're going to ask that question indeed. What is so wrong with President Biden? What do you think America would be like if Biden was to serve a second term versus, let's say, Trump or anyone else you may favor? What is so wrong with President Biden? That's what we're talking about straight off the bat. And as a side note, considering the fact that many have stated that Vladimir Putin would be a better leader than Biden, why is it that so many folks, particularly on the right, that support Trump see Putin as favorable when virtually no one else does? Perhaps MAGA and Trump have it right on Putin and everybody else is wrong? What is it about Putin that so many people in the camp of President Trump view him favorably? What has he done to be viewed in a better light than even, say, our own current commander-in-chief, President Biden? So it's twofold. That is the topics we're going to be discussing today. What the hell is wrong with Biden? What would you fear if he got another 4 years? Or maybe you think the country would be better off re-electing Biden. Those are what we're going to be talking about. The program always will remain MAGA friendly in its entirety. Understand, whether you're in the box, speaking to yours truly, or anywhere else on the program, the fact that you may disagree with someone else or the host, nobody gives a damn, because it's all about free speech here. We always believe in letting the people speak. Program's been ran that way from day one, shall always be ran that way in its entirety. Diana, thank you for the heart. Start the program off right. Do appreciate that. So going straight to the comments, it's not that we like Putin. We just don't buy how the media paints him. Well, here's the issue on that. If it was the liberal media, Lizzie in the comments, perhaps we could have a conversation. If it was the Western media, perhaps we could have a conversation. But outside of maybe a couple countries, Putin in Russia is viewed negatively all over the damn world. All of these media outlets are not working together. Even in this country, both the Democrats and the traditional Republicans do not view Putin favorably. So it goes way beyond the media. But why is MAGA, Trump, favorable to Putin? Why are they why are they an outlier? What are they seeing that no one else is? Looking in the comments, and I do appreciate, one of the things I wanted to say before I go right to the box now, I've noticed some of you folks that share the live. I had somebody recommend that I state that I've never asked anyone to share the live, but if that is something that helps certainly get the word out and have this dialogue progress, please do that. I've never even known about suggesting that. But going to the box, we're asking, what is it about Vladimir Putin that folks favor so much? It is the one and only Pinche Vato Loco, DJ Julio. Thank you for the hat and mustache. Pinche, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good. What is it about Biden that folks fear? Let's say you get a second term of Biden. Is there any concerns for you?
Am I? I must not be alive anymore.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's a fat chance. There's never.
Okay, wait. Yes, I just realized who I'm talking to. Now, you do believe President Biden is deceased already.
Exactly.
Okay. So who is in the White House right now?
Well, just to put out there, for my precursor to all my comments, I know nothing. I am just another guy on TikTok. I have no education. I have no brain of my own. I only make up things.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So let's get it. Let's get at it. If you want to, what is the phrase they say? It's for educational purposes only. Anyhow, when was his demise as far as your education is concerned? Because you believe Biden is deceased. So when did he perish?
January of 2021.
Okay. How?
Somewhat natural causes.
Okay. And no one in Washington is telling us this for what reason?
Washington's empty, my friend.
What do you mean by?
Look it up for yourself. Every building has a fence around it. Every building is closed down. And to this day, there's nobody working in those government buildings.
So, Nancy Pelosi, Marco Rubio, Mitch McConnell, none of these folks are there.
Did you see the State of the Union address?
Yes, I did.
Did you happen to notice there wasn't a presidential seal on the podium?
No, I wasn't looking for that. I think Biden did a pretty good job. Who was that gave that address?
That was Arthur Roberts.
Who is Arthur Roberts?
He's the C-level actor that's been playing Biden in the public since his unaliving.
Okay, so Trump is running for president against an actor?
Yes.
Why isn't he telling us that?
Because he's going to forfeit it in the end as well, and there will be no candidate when the time comes.
So Trump is not going to be president either?
No, they have to do that in order to fold the corporation.
Okay, where did you hear this corporation? Now, you believe...
My friend, all you have to do to look up that is look in the Universal Commercial Code, which is the code for all law in the United States. And under the definition of what the United States is, you'll find it for yourself. It's a federal corporation.
Okay, now I personally went to a Trump rally about 4 months ago. Only about maybe 8 rows back, I'm looking at Trump. Is he just lying and selling us all wolf ticket? According to you, he's not even running for president. Why the hell is he traveling the country?
No. He is running for president, and he does need to be in a winning spot at the time. But he's got to do his due diligence because of the fact that he needs to secure that spot so that nobody else can.
So if he wins, what is he actually going to be doing for this country?
What will happen if you follow what I'm trying to say is that there will be no candidate, and as long as there's no candidate, and I think it's till the 24th of January or something like that, I believe, by law, the corporation will be folded, and at that time they can restore the republic.
Okay, what do you mean when you say the corporation?
United States, by definition of the Universal Commercial Code, is a federal corporation. It is not a country. You have to understand that, and it's defined as being the 10-mile radius of Washington, D.C. by legal definition.
When did this start? The corporation, when did that start?
1871.
So Obama, Clinton, Reagan, who were they? If we had a corporation, were they the leader of anything?
Federal puppets that were selected for our public eye.
Okay, so none of them actually ran anything.
Nope.
I've never heard this. Now, I often bring up when you and I talk about your statement that Trump allegedly wrote a second Declaration of Independence. Now, you stated that, correct?
Yes, sir.
What's the difference between the second Declaration of Independence and the one that was originally written?
Who were declaring what our independence is being declared by against? Excuse me.
Our independence is being declared against who?
The cabal that runs the corporation.
Okay, so are we independent at this point?
Yes.
Okay. Now let me ask you this, because in the Sandy, thank you for the super chat on YouTube, because you know we're on both platforms. Sandy wanted to ask, are you a sovereign citizen?
A sovereign citizen is an oxymoron. Anybody who believes in the word sovereign citizen doesn't understand the meaning of the two by law.
Okay.
A sovereign is what we all are by natural creation. Okay? A citizen, if you look up the definition of a citizen in Black's Law Dictionary, which is the dictionary they use for the law, it is an employee of the federal government or somebody who lives within the Washington, D.C. area. So in actuality, what we all are by birth is American nationals. You have to understand, it's a big...
Okay. Unfortunately, it happens often with my last guest. I believe the TikTok gods in this case removed him. I always enjoy talking to him. He has really a different opinion than most of the folks we get on here. Not suggesting that I subscribe to it, but I do like to hear from Pinche. Understand you're always welcome back to the program, Pinche. I always recommend when folks do get banned to file an appeal, but with Pinche, I never recommend that because I don't think he'll ever win the appeals based on some of the things he says. But I can't stop folks from reporting individuals and shit like that. Just understand, I believe in free speech, and I will never report, ban, block, or limit anyone's opinion. But I can't control the TikTok gods. So that's what happened with my last guest. In regards to the comments, you can't give people like that a platform, Tim, says alter ego. Why not? Do you believe that if we shut those folks down, their opinion goes away? Perhaps when you start silencing folks, it actually legitimizes their belief that they're on to something because you won't let them speak. I believe in letting the folks speak and we can hash out the discussion and perhaps meet in the middle. You're never going to gain any ground with an adversary or someone with a different opinion by shutting them down. That's why I don't ever shut anyone down on the program. Looking in the comments, that's the problem now, spreading the shit, says Nye. Look, America's been spreading shit from day one. From day one. That's why a hell of a lot of the kids now don't even like what they're taught in school for history. We've always spread shit. This is not something new. By the way, going back to the box, tap the screen. 600 plus of you in here. Certainly get your boy likes up to around 20,000. 666 of you in here. I don't know if that's a message, but certainly tap the screen, get your boy likes up. And on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button. TikTok, come on, respect free speech, even him. Thank you there, Quick Cat on YouTube. I agree with you 100%. Looking in the comments, someone said a different opinion. That is one way to call it. On with the program. JR's, listen, everybody has a different opinion. I look, his opinion may be viewed a bit more wilder or out there than others, but your opinion may be viewed that same way by someone else as well. So I do believe in letting the people speak, such as Black Wolf 45. Good afternoon. If the box allows him to come in, well, I was trying to bring a guest up. Apparently, he dropped out while we were trying to do it, but we can continue on. Would Blacklist protect yourself in your live? Says Stick the Ruler. We tried. Blacklist, thank you for the hat and mustache, DJ Julio. Blacklist.
Hello.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you as well.
Hey, good to have you. So, Biden getting reelected. What is so wrong with Biden if we were to have him get another 4 years?
Realistically, because of his old age, he may not live that long.
You think Trump is going to be around like Betty White?
Ain't nobody gonna live as long as Betty White did.
Okay, all right. So you're concerned with Biden's age, but him and Trump could have went to the same high school together. Trump would have been a freshman, Biden would have been a senior.
To be quite honest with you, like the age, there's gotta be an age limit. There's got to be. Because at some point, like, if I may, like, Biden he has dementia.
How do you know?
Because it's been well documented. What I mean by that, though, like, even when the White House says like he's got dementia, you got to kind of back away from all that. But now, the reason why I'm saying all this is that age does, like, with age comes wisdom, but at some point, though, you just got to learn to put up the towel.
Okay. So what I'm curious about, though, if you think Biden is too old, do you not think the same of Trump?
Absolutely, I think that. Yeah, I do. I do agree with that. See, I am neither Democrat nor Republican. I'm actually a constitutionalist. Meaning this, I believe in giving the power back to the people. I believe in the Constitution from the very beginning of we the people to the very end. Nothing in between.
Okay.
Now,
go ahead.
So now I believe that we should have less government intrusion.
I gotta, I hate to always go in this direction, but considering that I'm a minority or whatever, we tried that, and the people were treating certain folks like shit. I mean, we tried states' rights, we tried, limited government, and every time we have tried that, folks have used individual freedoms to oppress others. I mean, look at what's going on right now with the rolling back of Roe v. Wade, giving power back to the states. The first thing the state is doing is taking away somebody's privilege, right, ability to do something.
Okay, I understand what you're saying entirely. Now, if I may, like, some odd years ago, the state that I'm in, they actually held a vote of legalizing gay marriage. Mm-hmm. The state that I'm in voted no. All right, and that was the vote of the people.
Right.
So, but then that went up to the Supreme Court. See, I'm not against gay marriage at all. I'm not against that. But see, what I was irritated about, though, was that the votes of so many people were ignored. That's what got under my skin.
Yeah, but that goes right back to what I said. If you give the power back to the states, Alabama may not want somebody like me in that state at all. I mean, as you say, going against the will of the people. The will of the people in Alabama was anti-me. What am I supposed to do with that?
Now, when it comes to that part as well, though, the civil rights movement was needed. I strongly believe that nobody should be discriminated against their color of their skin whatsoever. Now, because see, the area that I'm in, I work with people of different colors. I just don't see it. I don't. Now, people say, "Oh, you're just saying that." But when you grow up around it, how can you see it if you don't? How can you see it if you grow up your whole life around it?
How can you see what?
Okay, if I may use your example, and I mean no disrespect, but I don't see you as a command of color. I don't see that. I just see a man.
Okay.
But some people would say, "Oh, that's you're just being a race car driver." I'm sorry, but if I grew up around people of different colors all my life, I just don't see it. I can't see race.
And I don't disagree with that. But the problem is most people in America do not grow up around people of all different colors. I mean, most of rural America is all white. Most of the urban areas, there may be a little bit of more diversity, but if you live in rural Montana, you're not seeing people of all different colors. The overwhelming majority of counties in this country are not very diverse.
But see, I can't speak for everybody else but myself. That's the only thing.
Okay. All right. I'm talking about in general, though. If you give the power back to the states, right now we know what's happening with abortion rights. You mentioned the people not wanting to legalize gay marriage. That's what happens when you get a power to the states. It's not about increasing freedoms. It's about decreasing them. Suddenly Christianity's in schools and you can't bring the Quran. Or LGBT marriage, transgender, all of that shit's illegal. They're not giving people freedoms, they're taking it away.
And to me, that's not right. Everybody deserves to have their freedom.
But that's what they're doing. That's anytime you hear somebody say, I want to return the power to the states, it's always to stop somebody from doing something.
All right. Now, the best way I can ever describe that, okay, now you are fully aware of the recent events that happened with the Supreme Court overturning the Colorado's Supreme Court's decision.
Yes.
Now, see, a lot of people were mad about that because of that decision. But Now, even though they were citing the 14th Amendment, Section 3 of the insurrection, the problem was that Section 5 actually clearly states so that Congress shall have the power to remove a presidential candidate, not the states. So what the Supreme Court did, they upheld the Constitution.
Yeah, and I favored it, but once again, that was Colorado exercising their state's rights to once again take something away from people, which is the MAGA or Trump supporters in Colorado was taking their right away to vote for Trump. I've never seen states' rights used in conjunction to giving people rights. It's always to take them away.
And that becomes a problem because now it becomes a question of who decides gets what and who doesn't. Who decides?
Yeah. Well, I'm just simply saying, as a minority, not part of the majority, there's no way I could favor states' rights because its history in America has been oppressive. It's not in favor of giving folks rights. It's in favor of taking them away. It has a long history of that. It's not like I'm picking one area or one issue. The whole thing seems to be about taking rights away.
No, if I may ask, what rights do you favor more than others?
What do you mean? I favor all rights. I favor you to have a right to be yourself. What do you mean?
Okay, sorry, I was gonna. You have to forgive me. I wasn't really clear on what I was asking though. But when you were saying that they're trying to take away the rights, what rights are being stripped away from one but not the other?
Well, it could be the right not to serve gay people. It could be the right to not let interracial couples get married. It could be the right to not let folks smoke marijuana. It could be the right to not acknowledge transgender even exists. The right to a woman to choose. It's endless. It literally is endless.
All right. Touching on all these topics here, now, the way I feel, now this is just me, you may disagree with this one, but interracial marriages, it doesn't bother me. Because, again, the reason why it doesn't bother me because you can't help who you love. All right? So, when it comes to gay marriage, to me, it doesn't really matter. Because whoever, if another man decides to another man, how does that affect me? It doesn't.
Let me interrupt you. I'll let you continue, but understand, even during the civil rights movement, nobody was a racist. No, they were saying exactly what you're saying now. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not like that. But somehow, some way, racism continued, and the civil rights movement was resisted to the very ending. Everybody always says, I don't have a problem with LGBT. I don't have a problem with this or that. But when you look at how people vote, it's clearly the opposite.
And when people actually speak in that manner, how they do one thing, but the opposite, they really show their true colors.
Yeah. But you don't know because they don't have to tell you who they voted for.
Wholeheartedly, I can remember when I was younger, during presidential time, during the presidential elections, I would ask people who they vote for. They say, "Well, that's a sensitive subject."
Well, look, I got to move it on, but I'm just going to tell you this: people who are oppressive don't usually admit they are oppressive. I mean, like I said, when Martin Luther King was fighting, nobody was a racist. Everyone was saying, I believe this because, but I'm not a racist. You'll never get people to admit it. But I do got to move it on. Appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Follow me at Blacklist War in 2.0.
Appreciate it. All right. Moving the program on, they unalived MLK. That's kind of how it works. That's kind of how it went down. Excuse me, but the whole of your feelings is what he's asking. It's human rights, says Jennifer. That's the way it should be. That is the way it should be. By the way, tap the screen. Get your boy on up to 30,000 likes. I do appreciate that. You could be anywhere you want. Good to have you here on this Tuesday afternoon. What is so wrong with President Biden getting 4 more years? What do you fear would happen in this country if Biden got to serve again? Is it really that bad that if Biden gets to serve again, somehow, some way, America would fall apart? If you believe that, feel free to state that in the comments. I'd love to hear your point. Going back to the box, Shadow Sniper. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. I can't wait to come in answer that question, says Kamal. Appreciate you coming in. Shadow Sniper, good afternoon.
Howdy, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. 4 more years of Biden. What say you?
We chatted, I just wanted to say, because of all of our critical guidelines. But anyway, moving on. Yeah. But now, yeah, another 4 years of Biden would be very destructive.
How so?
I mean, you saw what he did on day one with just the gasoline pipes and all that and everything, and the fuel. It jumped from under $3 a gallon to almost $4 a gallon, and it's steadily just climbing. It's not getting any better.
Wait. How do you respond to folks who suggest the president doesn't control gas prices?
Yeah, well, then they don't understand the policies and how he's not signing new permits, and he's not allowing people to, have new government land to put drills on and stuff. And he's actually denying more permits and he's approving.
Okay,
and that's a fact.
Okay, other than gas prices, where were you going?
He'll lead us right into World War III.
How so?
With Russia and Putin and Ukraine. I mean, we're funding a war we can't even afford that isn't even in our backyard.
Isn't that the American way? I mean, Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam, Korea. I mean, we've always funded wars we couldn't afford that were not in our backyard.
Well, this is true, but there were other stronger, more political points for that. But this is more about just funding a war to help a country that is underdeveloped and under-strengthened and doesn't even have the strength to fight the battle in the first place. But then again, it doesn't bother us, but yet we got an open southern border we can't even control.
Well, we'll tackle the border, but before we get to the border, you're suggesting we leave the Ukraine to their own devices. Are you okay with Russia potentially taking over Ukraine?
I mean, if it means having those two countries sit down and work something out,
why would they?
So be it. But, work up a pact, work up something, work up an agreement, something that works for both countries. But all this war and all this fighting and all this expense on us is just atrocious.
But wait a minute. If we take the path you are suggesting, and I believe Trump is suggesting the same thing, where we decide to get out of it financially, get out of being involved in that, you think Russia would then work with Ukraine and write up a pact when Ukraine has no assistance?
Doesn't have any respect for the leadership in office at the moment, and that's why they're behaving and acting the way they are.
Repeat that. Say that again.
Russia has no respect for the leadership in office at the moment and is acting and behaving the way they are, like they're a bully in the playground. So when a real leader steps in and addresses them and says, listen, you're going to follow the rules, you're going to do as you're told, you're not going to get everything you want, but you can come to the table and get some of the things you want. You don't have to get everything you want.
So are you saying that Trump could bully Russia into behaving?
I'm saying he can bring them to the table and sit them in Ukraine down and strike up an accord and strike up a pact that works for both sides.
Why would Russia go to, if let's say we put Trump in office and tried to bring him to the table, if we're not assisting the Ukraine militarily, as you suggested, why would they go sit down at the table and negotiate with a country that they're about to kick their ass? Why would they do that?
Because they've got NATO, they've got us, they've got all the allies of NATO.
Wait, NATO, Ukraine is not a NATO member country, so NATO
member. But NATO doesn't agree with what Russia's doing either.
Okay, so you believe that NATO is a fan of continuing to support the Ukraine?
Not not saying they're a fan of it because they don't want to be a part of it because NATO's not, I mean, Ukraine's not a part of NATO. But at the same time, the NATO alliance doesn't want to see other countries act like bullies in their own backyard.
Okay, wait. Here's what, because you're confusing me. You believe that we should get out of the involvement because it's costing us money. I assume you believe we could be doing things better with the assistance we're giving to Ukraine, doing more for Americans at home. America first is normally the statement. But if we get out of the Ukraine and we make it clear we're not going to help the Ukrainians, I don't see why Russia would come to the table. You're saying that Trump would stop helping the Ukraine, but then try to sit Putin and Zelensky down to the table. Why would you do that?
Stop with Ukraine. We just levy the taxes on all their Russian imports, and then we hit them on the backside where it hurts because they can't import and export if we don't participate with them.
So are we? Wait! I thought we were going to get out. I thought we were going to
starve them to death in World War I and World War II.
But that's what I'm saying, Shadow Sniper. I thought we were going to get out of overseas conflicts. You're just saying do it a different way.
No, I'm saying bring them to the table by muscling them, by telling them they're not going to have an export and a trade option in the world globally if they don't come to the table and sit down and have some realistic terms.
But what you're doing is getting involved in their business. You just stopped funding in Ukraine, and now you're threatening them with sanctions. You're still involved.
But we're involved in the middle of the table, not on one side or the other.
Yeah, you are. You're threatening to sanction Russia, not the Ukraine. You are picking sides.
No, we're wanting to stop the killing and stop all this war and sit down with something that is peaceful for everyone so that all that stops and Ukraine can start to
Shadow Sniper and many folks in the comments are stating this, what I'm about to say as well. We've already tried to threaten sanctions. We've already tried that. Russia, just like North Korea, just like China, just like Venezuela, sanctions don't make people act right. Iran, we could go on and on. Threatening to sanction these people don't work. You're literally going backwards with the sanctioning issue. Putin could.
But you don't understand is, Biden threatening sanctions, and then you have Trump threatening sanctions, and additional penalties on top of that. There's a difference between the leadership, and there's a difference between the approach and the respect that's given to each different leader. So if it's done appropriately and respectfully, with the mutual respect of each of all the countries involved, then they all come together.
Okay, I think you and I completely disagree. I don't think Vladimir Putin is going to stop doing what he's.
A lot of money we've sent to Ukraine, we could have cured our homelessness in America. We could have stopped American veterans from being 22 a day. We could have stopped a lot of other things in this country. We can control the border. We can control the drugs coming into this country a lot better. If we had $200 billion to spend on our country, we would have spent it on ourselves.
No, we would.
It doesn't even border our country.
Sandy on YouTube, I will discuss your statement in a second. Shadow Sniper, we wouldn't have done any of that because Vladimir Putin just went into the Ukraine in February of 2020 or 2022. And everything you said we would be doing with that money if we weren't sending it to the Ukraine existed in this country at that time, and we were not doing it. There is no history of we were doing all of this stuff and then we had to stop because we sent the money to the Ukraine. We weren't doing it before the war took off. So there is no, if what you were saying is true, there would be politicians all over Washington telling their constituents, unfortunately, I cannot continue doing this or this for you because the money has been diverted to the Ukraine. No one is saying that. No one is stepping forward, even the citizens. No citizens are stepping forward and saying, they used to throw us a bone until they started sending all that money to the Ukraine. Nobody is saying that because it was not happening. That is just literally selling folks wolf tickets that if we stop helping in Ukraine, all of a sudden folks in this country in need are going to get helped out. There is no history of that. What I want to ask you, though, in regards to a super chat that came in regards to something you said earlier, Sandy on YouTube said, Biden approved 3,300 permits for oil drilling in 2023. Trump only approved 2,500 in his third term. Less than 10% of the oil permits are for federal land, suggesting that you are wrong. What say you?
Okay, so the federal permits may have been lower, but that doesn't mean that the private land and the private permits weren't as much or more.
Okay, and listen, I'm going to admit that's above my educational value. I don't know enough about that to get too deep into it, but I do know enough about what you and I were talking about before that, and that is there is no motivation in this country to look out for the less well off. Otherwise, we would have been doing it. You would hear Trump bragging about how much he used to do for people with the money before it went to the Ukraine. Even Trump isn't bragging about that because it wasn't happening. But I do got to move it on, Shadow Sniper. You know what we got to do. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely.
You too.
Really appreciate the time.
Hey, anytime. Tap the screen, 700 plus of you in it. We certainly could go to around 50,000 likes if you folks tap the screen. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. That's how the program's always been ran. That's how it always will be ran. Never about telling you how you should think. Always about hearing what you have to say. That was painful, says Rob K. Don't be so hard on the conversation or the guest, Ron. Appreciate the input, though. Biden has approved permits, but not the approval to actually drill. This is a smoke screen by the Dems. I don't totally disagree with that, but I think all politics is a smoke screen. Certainly anyone saying what I just discussed with my last caller, and that's coming from MAGA. All of this about we shouldn't help the Ukraine because that money could be going to the poor or the homeless or folks who are hooked on drugs. It's bullshit. There's no energy or stomach in this country to help out those people. It's not going to happen. The minute that Ukrainian war is over, or we get Trump in office and he stops sending money to the Ukraine or sending weapons that are worth money to the Ukraine, we're going to go right back to what we normally say. Pull yourself up by your damn bootstraps. If you paid for a loan, if you took out a loan to go to college, find a way to pay it back like everybody else. That's what we're going to go back to saying. This Ukrainian money ain't shit going to any of us. I don't know why people keep coming up with this statement when there's clearly no evidence that we ever used to do that. Going back to the box, Stick the Ruler. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. 4 more years of Biden. Stick, what would be wrong with that?
I don't think nothing would be wrong with it. I mean, just like his president before him, which was Barack Obama, that he served under, we're at a crisis right now because of the previous president, which would have been Donald Trump. So what crisis? What are we going through now that you would refer to as a crisis that you would attribute to Trump? What a crisis is basically the division and the racism that is standing out on every front, which the FBI and the CIA and anybody else that's an organization with crime, they're looking at them and they're saying, "Hey, man, it's on the heighten up and up." Now, mind you, regular crime is down. That's the only crime that is up, which is racism, or racial crime. So that's the crisis right now. And then on top of that, I said division. I mean, the division is if you vote blue, you're an enemy. And then on the blue side, if you vote red, it's kind of like you're an enemy. So, I mean, it's division. And it's sad that Donald Trump knew that it would be like that if he lost. Remember, he said that the United States would be in chaos and this and that and the third.
Okay.
If Joe Biden comes in office, who knew that he would be the cause? Who knew that he would be the cause behind it? I mean, you got January 6th, and then on top of that, again, like I just said, you got Homeland Security, FBI, and everybody saying racial crimes are on the up and up.
So how do you respond when you mentioned division? A lot of folks believe that the division started with Obama. What say you?
I would say the division started with Obama, but not through Obama. The division started the day that Obama got out there, and then the birther movement came about. Whether you want to say it was Donald Trump with the sidekick of Hillary Clinton, or you want to say it was Hillary Clinton with the sidekick of Donald Trump. She wanted to be president at the time. She kind of like backed it a little bit and then backed off of it because she already knew what it was. But the whole thing of it is Donald Trump kept it going. So at the end of the day, the division started, yes, under Barack Obama, but through the lips and the coordination of Donald Trump.
Yeah, because then someone's echoing what you're saying in the comments. I can't even pronounce the name of that. Julio some says, I've said it before, Trump is the cause of all the divide in the U.S. So you're putting it right at Trump's footsteps as well. I mean, is there anything, if let's say Trump got reelected, do you think he can unite us? Do you think he can undo the divide?
No, because, I mean, he can't even undo the divide in his own party.
Wow.
And the Nikki Haley voters and the Never Trumpers, like all of these existed before and or after he ran for president. You got people that already was like, nah, I ain't never voting for him. And in that fact, he had to switch parties. He had to go to the Republican Party. You know?
Yeah, but is the divide, you're attributing divide and division to Trump. Is that division because of something he did, or is it simply out of hatred for Trump? Because folks say he was going to expose and drain the swamp. He was going to expose corruption, and maybe people are divided because they don't want him to expose corruption. I mean, is the hatred for Trump because of something he did, or because people just don't like him?
It's both. It's both. It's something that he did. It's something that he said. You know, he loves to run his mouth. On top of that, the people that he hangs around, and I've said this to you before, they are billionaires, literally. They, Mark Bloomberg was quoted saying at one time, "I'm the only billionaire in the room." And Trump was there.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah, because I am a billionaire. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the only billionaire in the room. Like, and Trump said nothing. Because he knew, just shut up. Just shut up. Trump say nothing.
Well, Trump is on record saying he's worth $15 billion, though.
But the whole thing of it is he can't give up at this moment. He needs 175 million. So if he can give up 175 million, I still won't say he's a billionaire. I just say he had 175 million.
But what about Truth Social going public, and they're suggesting that particular social media platform is worth 3-point-some-odd billion?
Tim, everybody right now is looking into Truth Social and looking in what they bring in. I think so far somebody was saying that maybe quarterly they only bring in like $9 million.
Damn.
So if you're only bringing in $9 million quarterly, and I think quarters are like every 4 months or every 3 months or something like that, I mean, you're not making no more than what, like 39 million a year or something like that, maybe a little bit more. So like, yeah, nobody's believing that bullshit. I mean, I don't even think they're gonna be even accepted on the stock exchange because he can't get no loans from no other banks. He's already been disgraced in the sense of Mar-a-Lago is not worth $600 million, like all this other stuff that he put out. And I would say,
wait, my last caller before you was in the comments saying that Truth Social is worth $5 billion. So he's disagreeing with you. He said it's worth $5 billion. Keep going.
Tell him right now. As soon as stock market if they put him on there, tell him go buy him a piece of stock and tell me, do you think it's worth it? Because I don't believe that it's worth it. I mean, the only person that they have on there that you're supposed to listen to is Trump. So if Trump goes to jail, you're gonna lose money, right? Unless he come out with a jail merch.
Trump ain't. You don't think Trump's going to jail though, do you?
We already got a bet on it. It's a lightweight $20 bet. But I'm gonna keep pushing that. He going to jail.
No, he's not.
I don't care.
I don't even think you're gonna get it guilty for it. No, Trump ain't gonna do a day. I'm gonna be right here telling you that right now. I can say that with a fair bit of certainty. Certainly when you see what's going on with these cases, and I'm not saying he might not be found guilty on something, but he's not gonna do a day.
No, he finna go to jail for at least 3 months. They gonna give his ass 3 months, and the rest of it suspended sentence, and he gonna be on house arrest for 10 years.
You crazy?
He gonna get some shit like that.
Let me just thank World Champion for that galaxy. Thank you very much. I don't know if you favor Trump staying out of jail, but yeah, I don't think Trump's gonna do a day, man. I don't believe it. Now, I had somebody tell me on the program, and it has always stuck with me. This has been several months ago, but they told me one reason Trump is never going to be incarcerated because there will be at least one MAGA on every jury. In other words, MAGA is never going to convict Trump. Would you agree with that? That somebody who truly is MAGA down with the program would never convict Trump?
I would say that a true MAGA, no, they would not convict Trump. And the reason why is because of they're already contributing to his behavior. They're already contributing to it. I mean, he says something foolish, whether it's towards the black community, towards the LGBTQ community, towards the Jewish community, and they make narratives and everything for him. So I mean, you're absolutely right on that. I'm a MAGA person,
and I'm gonna tell you right to that. Think about it. His biggest cases
at this point.
But where's his biggest cases? They're down in the South, ain't they? Fulton County, Georgia, and down in Florida. I mean, those folks ain't gonna convict Trump. They're not gonna send that man to jail.
Well, this is the thing about it. The strongest case, you know it and I know it, is the documents case.
That's in Miami, ain't it?
No. Well, yes and no. It's in a federal court versus just in a regular smuggler court.
Okay.
So the federal court, in a sense, is not just a state court or just in the state of Florida.
Yeah, but come on, Stick. The judge that's dealing with that case you're talking about is a Trump appointee.
Yeah, I get that, but they're already looking at her and saying she may be like a Fonnie Willis. They got to get her off the case. So, not in the sense of the same thing that Fonnie had going on, but what I'm saying is in the sense of, hold up, wait a minute, she's already gave judgments and said things to the jury that wasn't supposed to be said. So, right. You know, they're going to relook into that and see if she really should be the person that does his... You know,
I do got to move it on Stick, but I'm telling you, thank you for that TikTok cap there, Gabe. Appreciate it. Trump ain't doing a day. I'm going to say it again. Trump ain't going to do a day. Hell, you're starting to have more Democrats that believe the guy is being railroaded. Trump is not going to do a day. I'm watching Stephen A. Smith on YouTube saying that what they did is getting to be a bit overkill. Trump ain't doing a day, man. I got to move it on, though, Stick. Give you the last word.
Okay, so last word. I would just say, MAGA, I get it. Y'all love him. Y'all look at him like black males all over the world looked at Barack Obama. You could strive to be something, but the only difference is Barack Obama was a real dude and Trump is not a billionaire. He's not a real billionaire. So at the end of the day, you got a con. You got Don the con. And, I'm thriving under Biden. And that's what it is. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's looking real bleak for Trump. You didn't. Hey, I was just trying to tell you too. He said that The government said that Mar-a-Lago was worth 18 million. He said, well, you know, I know it's worth more than that. You know, somebody offered.
He said 100 times. Well, he said, yeah. I gotta go. I did hear that. He said Mar-a-Lago was worth 100 times that. I did the math in my head, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, hold on. He said they said it was worth 18, but somebody offered him 19.
Right.
So I mean, you just snitched on yourself right there. Somebody offered you 19. They didn't offer you.
Yeah, but then he said it was worth 100 times that. All right, you gotta work. I gotta go. All right. Okay. So, look, I don't think Trump's going to do a day. I'm say that again. I think that, yes, Trump is known for inflating things. I know more about COVID than anybody. I know more about the what's going on the ground in Afghanistan than the generals. I don't think that matters. I don't think folks who support Trump give a damn about that. If you're willing to view to grab them by the you-know-what is locker room talk, well, inflating your ego and by saying you're worth this or you're worth that, yeah, that's just locker room talk as well. That's, men do that. Men say, Al Bundy, I got 4 touchdowns in a single game. Men just inflate shit. I do believe folks will write off Trump boasting and bragging about things all the time is something that people just do. I don't believe that matters at all. Do I believe Trump is being honest about his wealth? No. I don't believe he ever has been honest about his wealth. I think he's always been known to inflate and overstate things. But at the end of the day, in regards to his supporters, I don't think that'll matter one bit. Also, keep in mind, his adversary is Biden. They see Biden as somebody that's going to destroy the damn world. Who cares if the guy said he's worth $1 billion and $2 more than he is? We're going to vote for a dude that's going to destroy the entire country. So at the end of the day, that's not going to matter. And I do see in the comments, Tokyo says it would matter if Biden said it. Spot on. I agree with that 100%. Why do you care? We have to worry about being invaded and killed, says Angela. My point exactly is exactly what I just stated. Yeah! Thank you, Christian, for the hat and mustache. Appreciate that. Angela just said exactly what I stated. I stated that folks are not going to care about the little, semantics of bragging because they believe if you put Biden in, he's going to destroy the world. And her comment is, why do you care? We have to worry about being invaded and killed. So, yeah, exactly. So as long as folks have that mindset, that Biden is going to destroy the whole country as a whole, then, yeah, they don't care about anything that Trump inflates. Guy, get real and look in the mirror. Trump doesn't care about voters like you. And that came from Argos. In other words, Trump doesn't care about voters like me, a man, 6'6", I'm a tall guy, 300 pounds, I'm an obese guy. What type of guy does Trump not care about? Because I fall in a lot of categories. Feel free to state that. Happen to be a minority. I live in the Midwest. What type of guy? I'm lower middle class. Damn it, let me know what category I'm falling into where Trump doesn't care. Let your boy know in the comments. Appreciate the comment. You believe the same nonsense too, says bet on yourself. Elaborate, state what the nonsense is. Okay, let me go ahead and give my spiel. Tap the screen, get your boy on up to 70,000. We're right at 60,000, nearly 900 of you in here, certainly on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. I think on YouTube, you have to hold it down for a couple seconds for it to register. If you folks enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle without any concern of the host block, banning, or censoring anyone, because it's all about free speech here, feel free to follow the program for those on TikTok. Certainly a subscription, if you will, on YouTube. Going back to the comment section, this year is going to be my first year voting. I'm going Trump all the way. Deport and drill, baby, says Joshua. First year voting. Now, I will say this. If there is one thing to give Trump credit for, regardless if you're on the left or right, you love him, you hate him, Trump has brought more folks to the political atmosphere than any commander-in-chief probably in our lifetime. I think Obama brought a hell of a lot of people to politics as well because he energized the young vote. But I think Trump is doing it even more so, because Trump is energizing a hell of a lot of the people that like him and a hell of a lot of people that hate him. Rolling back Roe v. Wade is going to, energize a hell of a lot of young women. I mean, he's bringing a lot of people to the ballot box, love and hate. So Trump certainly deserves credit for that. Now, Joshua stating this, he can finally vote come November, is voting for Trump. I don't believe Trump will do well with the younger voters, but Joshua's one of them. Christian, yeah, hat and mustache. Shout out to you. Going back to the box, Kamal, I cannot pronounce the rest of that. We'll just go with Kamal, not Cabal, but Kamal. Good afternoon, Kamal.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. 4 more years of Biden. What say you?
Wonderful question. My name is Kamal. I'm streaming, or I'm following you right from Africa, West Africa, Ghana to be specific.
Wow. Let me interrupt you real quick, because this is something I often want to know the answer to. I'm African American, but obviously my ancestry is not in this country. This is something I've always wanted to know. Considering you're in Africa, what nation does someone like me look like I'm from? If I just walked up to you, what nation over there would you guess I was from?
Considering your height, your stature, I would say, and your color, in terms of your complexion, you're not too dark, but then I can tell that your brightness is as a result of the weather. But if you were in Africa, you probably would have been very, very dark. So I'm looking at your stature. You're looking at Sudan. You're looking at Sudan and Senegal, and your stature is also seen in Nigeria. So stature more in Nigeria, color and stature for Senegal, and then color for Sudan and Somalia.
That's actually, now I did the Ancestry.com test, and I always ask this anytime I get somebody from the actual continent, because over here, once we were brought here, they kind of just chopped us up and sold us off like puppies and completely destroyed what countries we came from. So I often want to know that, because the English, they can trace theirs well back into the centuries. French, German, they all know that stuff. We kind of lost that in the movement.
There's a very well recorded history of whatever movement that actually had happened. It's not like ours, it's not there, but then the issue is it has been underestimated and disrespected with the course of time due to the style of writing and also civilization of the difference in civilizational patterns. So perhaps our records were not really, given much attention than, the ones that were written as far as historical eventualities were concerned, with, movement and immigrations or migrations of, our white brothers.
Okay, we don't have to go too deep. Yeah, we don't have to go too deep into it. I just wanted to find out. I will get to why you got on here real quick in the comments, though. I cannot pronounce any of that, but Scott said, we're from here. We're from here, but, everybody, there's certain foods and cultures. You want to know,
to some geographical.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me just say this part right here, is that every group that's here, they bring something with them from where they came from. And when you look at African Americans, our predominant culture, the foods we eat, is basically, soul food, everything from chitlins to hog mugs, all the stuff that really the slave masters threw out, and we learned to, season garbage, which is why some folks will suggest African Americans are so good at seasoning food. That ain't our natural food. Wherever we came from, we ate something there. I want to know what it is. Is it wrong to ask that? So, Kamal, you've been listening in. What was the reason you came through?
I've been listening to you over and over for a lot of months now, for a long time now. So, and I've actually been a guest speaker, or you actually brought me on to speak. I believe you probably might have forgotten.
I do believe it now. I do remember now that you're telling me. Now, I can't remember, though. What was your opinion on our current president versus our last president?
I just don't want to jump into giving you that answer right now, but let me reiterate some of the mistakes that our great American politicians have been doing as far as our international or foreign policies are concerned. American foreign policies are concerned. America is still sleeping. It's still sleeping on old grace and old theories of imperialism and power, thinking that all other places were stuck and dormant and were not moving and are not aware of the speed rate and movement and direction of America's imperialistic, approach in foreign policies. Now, one thing I applaud ex-President Trump is the fact that he is very conscious of the fact that all other countries in the world or other continents in the world are evolving through education and through a lot of evolution in order to catch up with the first, with the advanced world.
Somebody want to talk to you, man.
Yes, therefore, his approach to foreign policy has brought sanity and more respect to America than any other president within this 21st century.
Wait, let me make sure I get clarity. So you're saying that Trump has brought more respect to America because of his foreign policies than anyone else?
Exactly.
What policy? What policy?
The reason being, he did not treat all other continents or other countries, example in Africa, like people who were dummies and didn't know what they were about. He would rather approach you in a much diplomatic way, whereas everybody is now feeling suppressed or downpressed or being imposed upon to do whatever they did not think.
But you said policies. What policies has Trump did to bring on this respect?
Good question. What I will say is, you see, when we even look at what is happening even in Ukraine right now, during Obama's time, okay? During Obama's time, a lot of headbutts has been happening. Just because there were no shootings and all that, there was a serious tension between Russia and America over Syrian issue. Now, Putin had to come to America and say out his mind clear. Around that time, America should have waken up. All the fights.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Come on. I asked you what policies that you went back to about. What policies did Trump do to make America more respectable?
Okay, so these are the policies that America did to make Trump did to make America more respectful. You see, he did not impose America's culture and policies over these countries. Okay, like today, recently we had the vice president come to Africa trying to impose sexuality education. As far as LGBTQ is concerned, today, a lot of African countries are dissociating themselves in all fields of endeavor or business with America because they felt they were being trumped upon.
Come on. What you're basically saying is that Trump made us more respectable because he didn't get in everybody's business. You're not giving me a policy. What you're saying is he didn't do anything.
Yes, he did not really interfere. We call it interference in their political activities. Because interference, before you do any kind of interference, what you need to do is to understand the culture of those people, to understand the livelihood and lifestyle of those people. That is what actually was the weakness of America in all its foreign policies, because they did nothing to understand the people and to respect their values and views. So
essentially,
things that were foreign to them and which were not accepted, and hence making those people backstab America, even though America had even given them a helping hand, but those people were always backstabbing America because America's policies were not accepted.
So essentially what you're giving Trump credit for is he stood back and let the world run itself. He as an American leader, he didn't get involved. That's not a policy though.
He makes neutral. You see, we have passive and active interaction and interventions. He made passive interactions, whilst during Biden's time, they made active interference into the chaoses that were happening in other countries, in which case they were most of the time siding the wrong side. Now today, America is taking a bad name for actually proliferating and also being the supporter of those, let's say, rebellious activities that are happening in a whole lot of these countries around the world. So when you make passive comment and make sure that, well, we want to help you resolve your situation, resolve your issue, resolve your problem, but we do not want to take, we do not side in whatever is happening, then you are making sense to those people, because these are people that are embedded in the way they think and in a high level of moral fiber. So they understand, just like in the Middle East.
I get what you're saying. Listen, I'm gonna have to move it on. I do got to move it on, Kamal. But I get your point is that you like Trump or you favorite Trump because he wasn't trying to get in everybody's business. A lot of folks who vote for Trump in this country say exactly what you're saying. So I do get your point. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you for bringing me up.
Anytime. And what he is saying, just like with the Ukraine-Russian war, that's exactly what people who support Trump wants, is for Trump to focus on America first. You know, that's the common phrase, America first, and get out of everybody's business. Now, the notion that, Trump is favored in Africa, many would point out, how the hell did that happen? Shithole countries and all that. I don't know, but at the same time, I don't totally disagree with him that if you like running your country without interference from, the world's police, you might favor having a commander-in-chief in Washington that's going to let you do what you do. Taliban, for instance, they don't believe women should drive or women should have equal rights. We had George W. Bush and both Barack Obama believing that girls in that country should be free. Trump gave Afghanistan back to the Taliban. My guess is the Taliban would probably favor Trump as well. It's a lot of countries that don't want American interference. He started the conversation out when I asked him about what policies that Trump gave that would make them favor Trump over other American leaders. First thing he said was Kamala Harris was in our country promoting LGBT equality. They don't want that. With Trump, we don't have to worry about that. We can continue treating the LGBT community the way we want to. And if we get Trump in office, he's not going to interfere with that. I don't know if that, at the end of the day, is a good thing or a bad thing. Essentially, leave the world to its own devices. Yeah! Thank you, Jay Gar, I think that's it, for the hat and mustache. But that is what a lot of folks want. How many of you folks believe that that's what we should do? Just let the world do what the world's going to do, and it will benefit the United States. How many of you think we'll benefit if we just take our hands off the world and let them do what they want? Looking in the comments, you Trump, F you Trump, I think that says Kamal need to come out of the closet. That's not nice. I don't think Kamal is in the closet at all. Trump treats people badly. Yikes. The dollar will get weaker. I agree with that if we take our hands off the world and leave everybody to their own devices and we don't interfere, U.S. dollar would get weaker and we certainly would not be a superpower for very long. I totally believe that. And therefore, our quality of life in terms of wealth, property acquisitions, all of that would go down. It would all go down. Going back to the box, appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. Certainly get your boy likes on up to around 85,000. We still got 800 plus of you in here. I didn't know he was going to go in that direction with that. And I think that I looked at my numbers in terms of who's tuning in. Numbers went down a little bit, but toward the end of his conversation, shit started going back up. It's crazy. Big Rich from California. Good. Well, whatever happened, he came and went. We'll keep it moving. We'll go straight to coffee. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. We will be placed on an island. It will make us vulnerable. I don't know if it'll make us vulnerable, but I do believe it will affect America as a superpower. If we just let everybody leave the world to its own devices, obviously China would likely go into Taiwan. NATO member countries would be at risk because we're by far the most powerful member of NATO. It would be a mess. It would be a mess. I don't know if in the long run that would be good for us, but I know a lot of folks disagree. Let me try. I don't know what happened with my last guest, but he never stated a policy handsome. Well, hang on a second, Miss. The policy was no intervention. Miss Mobetta, good afternoon.
Hi, Tim.
Hey, you're really loud there. You got a
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry.
you got a loud background.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so
Okay.
you've been listening in, I take it. I'll give you the floor.
I have. You've been making some good points and stuff today, and I just want to start out to say that a lot of people that get on here complaining about Biden, and they're not real. Nobody's really starving right now.
True.
Just be honest about it. We might not have all the things that we really want, as far as like vacationing and different things like that, but we're not starving.
But what about the fact that folks would suggest they had it under Trump? I mean, you don't want to have Biden say 4 more years of Biden, you won't really be starving. I mean, you want things to get better. Folks believe that under Trump it was better.
Can you hear me? Because somehow I can't hear you.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, media. Okay. So that's almost like beating a dead horse also. Under Trump did inherit I ain't gonna say a great economy because I didn't agree with everything Obama did either, but they leave a good package. This is what you have to work with, and this is what you go. You know what I'm saying? This is what you go with. This is how you handle the economy. This is how I handled it, so we can maintain as a country. You know what I mean? Now, when Trump left office, he purposely left it chaotic.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
In my personal opinion, because he thought he was being cheated. I believe he knew that he wasn't going to win even before the election happened because there was so much going on. He might do know more about COVID because COVID started before the public actually even knew what it was.
But wait, you think Trump deliberately left things in chaos intentionally?
That's my opinion of Miss Mobetta, none of Tim the liberal or anybody else on here. That is my personal opinion.
Wow.
I believe he purposely left it that way because he knew he didn't have the proper numbers to continue on for a second term.
So we're talking about a case. If I can't have it, then nobody. Just let the world burn.
Absolutely. Y'all figure that out. You understand? Why do you think he said, "Oh, we're gonna fight like hell"? He started that chant long before the election even started. He started it already. So, like when you ask the question, should he be held liable for January 6th? Absolutely. If you go out here and incite, you are already incited a riot. So,
but Trump supporters are going to say, he said go peacefully. He didn't tell people to do that. They did that on their own accord.
He said that after the fact.
No, he said go to the Capitol peacefully and patriotically. He talked about he would go with them. He didn't tell them to go and do all that.
See, but you can't talk out of both sides of your face. You got to say that and mean that. You can't say, "Oh, go down there peacefully but fight like hell." What do you want him to do?
Well, he didn't say to fight. I don't know. Did Trump say to fight like hell, or was that Rudolph Giuliani?
Like hell, yes, he did.
Oh man!
You can Google it. You don't gotta take my word for it.
I believe you.
Fight like hell. Biden, I believe he should hand his position over, which I know it won't happen, but hand it over only because I think he's older now and gracefully bow out.
So let's say we do get 4 more years of Trump. Do you think it really would be that bad?
Oh God, you know what? To be honest, I haven't really even kind of thought about that. But
You're only 7 months or so. You haven't thought about that. You need to think about that. That could happen.
I ain't gonna say that I ain't think about it, but I just haven't. I didn't let it consume my thoughts. But to have 4 more years of Trump again, now he's so revengeful. He has so much that he wants to get back at. Till he's not gonna run his position properly. He's not going to do it. He has too much that he wants to get back at before he can get forward. You know what I'm saying? I was willing to give him an opportunity when he took, all right, maybe he got a different plan. Maybe he can come in here, right? He's a businessman. But to go back to things when we're talking about how racist, not everybody that is a Republican is racist, but all racists are for Trump.
Wow. Wait. So not every Trump supporter is a racist, but you believe all races.
Not every Republican is racist.
Okay, but you believe all races support Trump.
Yes.
What about the notion that Biden is the one that's racist? Vote for me and you ain't black, the 94 crime bill?
They taught MAGA. Trump taught MAGA well. I'll give him that. I call him the Pied Piper. Because he toots his horn and they listen.
Wow.
They listen. They do.
You're not saying they're sheep or some code-like, are you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that can happen. Yeah.
Wow.
Sheep. I mean, it's just a sad day of events. That it's a lot more division now than it has ever been, and has nothing to even do with Biden. It did start back with Obama because, like I stated to you before, they were so angry about a black man running this country, so angry till they feel that anybody after him can run. So Trump had it out for him ever since Obama did that DNC and was talking about his own. The Donald said he want my birth certificate and put up the Lion King video and all kinds of stuff. Trump was embarrassed.
Well,
Obama embarrassed him, so he had it out for him ever since then.
I think Chris Christie often says exactly what you said, but in the comments, White Feather says, how about the border? Wake up. In other words, Biden is letting everybody in. Folks are not being vetted. We could have a terrorist attack on our hands because of what Biden is doing at the border. You don't see an issue with that?
No, the border is terrible. It's a bad situation, and I don't have the absolute answer for that. I say close it off until you can handle what you have here, and try to weed it all out. But as far as terrorist attack goes, any headline-worthy attacks that went on that I've witnessed has happened at the hands of American people.
Domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorism, shooting up these schools, blowing up the buildings, and all kinds of stuff like that, shooting up churches where people are in there worshiping God. That happened. Those were American citizens that did that. They weren't Mexicans or South American citizens. Yeah. They were Americans. So we have to start telling the truth about these things. Stop trying to sweep things under the rug and acting like they can't happen. So this is why DEI is being shunned upon with that the thing from Alabama. You know, where they don't want diversity, equality, equity, and inclusion because it's going to expose too much of your ugly.
All right, expose too much of your ugly. Wow. All right, Miss Mo Better. Is this our first time talking?
No, I was Angie at first.
Okay.
We spoke before.
But it's good.
Remember I told you the power of life or death lies in the tongue?
Yeah. I remember you now.
Absolutely, because it does. You can speak life into people or you can speak death over. You understand and especially when you're a person of a higher position.
Wow.
I can tell you, and this is why I say Trump incited what happened on January 6th, even though he can't really control what people do, but you can influence with your tongue.
So what do you think is he likely to influence by referring to them all as rapists and murderers?
Oh, that's just terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, now that he said it, being that they've been worshiping him this long, it's gospel to them.
I gotta agree that's kind of that's what I'm hearing here, but I do gotta move it on, Miss Mo Better. Appreciate you coming in. Wow.
I appreciate the folks giving me the likes and the coins and whatever. I appreciate y'all, but I always listen. I like your show.
Thank you. Always welcome back. Real quick, I wanted to respond to a super chat on YouTube. Name Barber, certainly a friend of the program. Thank you. In regards to my caller before, my last caller, the one that was actually on the continent of Africa, I think he said he was in Ghana. African old heads philosophy is often like those Super Bowl shirts we donate on the losing side and outdated. So he's saying that the African philosophy is outdated, kind of like you got a Super Bowl between two teams, and they're already printed up. They already print them up ahead of time. Won the 2024 Super Bowl, but when the team loses, you got to get rid of those shirts because they didn't win, even though they were printed up. He said African philosophy is like those shirts. Yikes. How about all the wars right now? Not one war with Trump, says White Feather. Here's my take on that. I don't buy into the notion that the world decided to act one way or another simply because Biden has gotten in office. I believe that folks act based on opportunity. Here's what I really don't understand is that Putin saw Biden as a weak leader, and that's when he decides to attack, but he would have never done it under Trump. In my opinion, that would have been the perfect time to do it because Trump made it clear, I'm not going to get involved. That's the time you should be acting, not when somebody is going to continue giving weapons and support and surveillance to your opposition. Biden would be the time you would stand down. Trump would be the time you would act. That makes no sense to me at all. Putin deciding to wait, let's say he did what folks are suggesting, waited until Biden got in office as opposed to Trump. All of a sudden, Biden just pretty much swamps Ukraine with all sorts of military surplus weaponry, surveillance, technology, and all of that. How many Russians have died because of what Biden has done for the Ukraine? How much equipment have they lost? What has that done to morale where Russian soldiers going to fight a much smaller, supposedly weaker country like Ukraine now don't even know if they're coming home? That's because of Biden. Because under Trump, they wouldn't have to worry about that. They wouldn't, if they decided to go in under Trump, Trump wasn't going to get involved. As one of my viewers stated that, well, he would have brought him to the table and had a conversation. Why? If Trump was in office, let's suggest that what MAGA often says, Putin wouldn't have done it under Trump. Okay, if Putin did not go into the Ukraine under Trump, he would still have all those living soldiers that are now dead, all of the tanks, aircraft, all of the stuff he's lost, he still have all of that. So make no mistake about it, even if Putin decided not to go into the Ukraine under Trump, Russia would be a much stronger country because they haven't experienced the loss of war now that they are under Biden. I don't see how this sounds beneficial to Trump at all. And make no mistake about it. Let's say Biden does what a lot of my beloved MAGA suggests. Get out of overseas conflicts, use the money at home, America first. If Putin takes over the Ukraine while Biden is president, you think they're going to give him credit for not getting involved? Or you think they're going to say, see how weak Biden was? Under Biden, Russia became a bigger, stronger nation. Biden let them conquer the Ukraine. Which way you think it's going to be viewed? If Biden takes their advice, does not get involved, let Putin do whatever the hell he wants, as Trump would say, how do you think they're going to judge Biden? Yay, he brought the money back home, or under his watch, because he's such a weak leader, Russia became a bigger, stronger country, and he allowed them to conquer Ukraine. You think about how that would be judged from the Republican side of the aisle. Looking in the comment section, or better yet, going back to the box. We'll continue it on with Lisa, and Cult Jam. Good afternoon, Lisa. I don't know if the box is going to let you there. I might have to reset it because I hear it, but I don't see anything. I hear, but I don't see. And that means if I can hear you and not see you, no one else is going to hear you at all. Try to come back in for a second. We'll try to, because the box does this with certain viewers. I don't know why, because I'm trying to do it with coffee as well. And once again, it's not bringing you up. That's why I'm trying to bring you up where I can actually see you. Because if I don't see you, nobody's going to hear you. Lisa, can you hear me? Yeah, and see, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, but I don't know. Okay.
Trump, judge ordered Trump under a gag order today.
Really? So Trump was supposed to.
I've been trying to tell you. I DM'd you.
I didn't see that. By the way, okay, let me make sure. Can you folks?
You don't have to bring me up.
Yeah,
I just wanted you to know.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Wow, that's what often happens. Is I get news while I'm on here, but I'll go ahead and drop you because nobody can hear you apparently. Just
okay, got it.
Hey, now, what she was telling me, because I know you folks couldn't hear it, is that some of you probably do able to tune in to other things while I'm doing this, but Trump got put under a gag order. I did not hear that. Which judge, which case? Was it the Alvin Bragg case? Which case or judge put Trump under a gag order? Going back to the box, Tim having secret conversations. Oh my goodness. Okay, Uncle James, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing good. 4 more years of Biden. What say you?
Oh, let's bring it. Let's bring it.
You favor that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm down for 4 more years of Biden.
What about 4 more years of Trump? What's wrong with 4 more years of Trump?
Oh, can I just be 100% honest, sir?
That's what you're here for.
If it would have been a good thing, we would already have it.
Well, what if it was a good thing, but his tweets and chaos made people dislike him?
If it made anyone dislike him, I would say the people who didn't like him the first have not changed. I would say that what this really shows us is that more people who voted for him the first time came to dislike him. Now, we can go back and forth about statistics and analytics all you want, but at the end of the day, the votes say what they say. And look, if it was that good, right? If it had been that good, and I'm not saying that he didn't have ample opportunities to do just that, but he shot himself in the foot on a number of platforms, on a number of issues. And so, my thing is that the people who didn't like him in the beginning have not changed, but obviously there were more people who changed their minds about him.
Yeah, but do you think anyone has changed their mind about Biden?
I think at the end of the day, I would say yes to that. But here's the difference. Here is the 100% difference, okay? Is that I can be a Biden supporter and not swallow the Biden Kool-Aid. Meaning that I'm not believing every single thing that comes out of his mouth. I'm not giving him a pass. I'm holding him accountable to a lot of stuff that he does or says. A lot of Trump supporters will not do that. And it's sad, but it is also the truth. It would be a different story if a Trump supporter would be like, you know what, I support this guy, but like if he can't change his stance on this or on that, or quit calling people like this or that, then I'm going to go the other way.
Give me something that you found, where it really leaves you appalled or baffled why Trump supporters do not hold him accountable. What has Trump did, in your opinion, that you absolutely believe he needs to be held accountable for, that MAGA won't hold him accountable?
Well, let's go with the COVID response. All right, more than a million people died because of the way that COVID was handled. Now, we know for a fact that there was a plan in place that was initially created under Bush that they went ahead and passed on to the Obama administration, that they reworked it and they said, this is what went wrong, this is what we did right, here are the corrections that we need to make. That same plan was then handed to Trump when he took office. Trump threw it out. Trump threw out that plan. Now, this plan could have saved hundreds of thousands of lives, period, across the board. but his mishandling of the issue, his mishandling of not letting medical professionals do their job, and more importantly, sowing the kind of division where people are like, well, I don't know if I should believe this guy, or I don't know if I should believe that guy. You got people taking horse tranquilizers. I mean,
You know, it's interesting you said, and I see Name Barber on YouTube says also pretending like he didn't know David Duke. We know you believe he did know David Duke.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I believe that there's even some photographs out there of him, and so
Are they really?
I believe that there are. I mean, look, hey man, there's photographs out there of him and the Clintons running together. So come
But
on.
we know that. Yeah, we know that.
You know.
So how do you respond to, like in the comments, what is it y'all says this election is actually based on the two F's, facts versus feelings? Are folks who are against Trump simply voting based on their feelings versus what's factual?
No, because I think that there are a lot of issues right now, and especially if you see some of the stuff that has come up that has been brought into law by MAGA Republican leaders.
Give me an example.
that are-
Something brought into law. Give me some examples.
So everything Roe v. Wade. I mean, look at how they're not only trying to dismantle abortion in this country, but I mean, let's take the example of the young girl in Ohio who was raped, right, and had to leave Ohio to go to another state to get an abortion. Do you notice that all of the conversation is focused on the young woman, but not one Republican has ever said anything about holding the man who did this rape responsible?
What are you saying? Are you saying that Republicans are anti-woman or something, or pro-man?
I'm saying that the policies and the way that they have structured their narrative clearly says that the person that they are going to hold accountable in these situations is the victim, and it's the woman. And so, like, why would you do that? I mean, why would you, in your right mind, hold a child who was raped responsible, but not go after the person who did it? I mean, if you're going to make stricter laws, let's make stricter laws against people who do the rape. Right?
Wow. You know the crazy thing is, now I don't know if this is true, but in reference to what you're saying, I've heard some folks say that if a woman is raped, the penalty she faces for having an abortion is actually greater than the penalty the guy faced for raping her. I don't know if that's true, but it sounds similar to what you're suggesting.
Well, I mean, take a look at Texas, for example. They're trying to pass laws that right now where, like, if you try to leave the state, to have an abortion now, they want to hold you criminally responsible. They want you to do all of these registries now, right? Where they want you to register, like, if you're pregnant and this and that. And let's not even take into consideration the fact that look at the thing for IVF. Now we're taking great completely out of the picture. But let's look at those people who, like, look, they want to have children, they want to have a family, but they can't now based on these laws that these guys are putting in. And so these are the same people who, kind of like what Mo Better was saying, they're talking out both sides of their mouth. Which, like, one, how can you tell me that you're pro-family when the thing that would help a young couple who wants to have a family, you are not only taking it away from them, but you're criminalizing it.
Wow.
And you're not criminalizing it for a reason that benefits them. You're criminalizing it because you're.
But if what they're doing is so bad to women, why are there still such a large audience of women that are going against Biden, voting for Trump? In the comments, Gina says my issue with abortion is the at birth BS. So, like 9-month abortions. I've never heard of anybody having that, but
there's no such thing. There is no such thing, sir. You ask any medical professional, there is no such thing as a 9-month abortion. That's called giving birth.
Well, wait a minute. You said it's, which is funny. You said it's called giving birth, but Ron DeSantis, when he was running for president, did say there are some liberal states that allow a woman to give birth, take the baby home like a 30-day trial period, and bring it back and have it aborted.
That's a lie. That's a flat out lie.
He did say that. He did say that.
He wouldn't be the first or the last politician to tell a lie. And you know, this is a dude that's like lost a number of cases to Mickey Mouse right now. So his credibility is not that great. But he's doing the things that are hurting women in his state. Now, I think at the end of the day, if you are so hell bent on doing these things because you're claiming, and I say claim because no one has actually proved it. If you're claiming that that there's some religious preset behind it, let's go back to what the founding fathers actually said, not to what Marjorie Taylor Greene says that they said. The founding fathers actually said that they wanted a separation between church and state.
Yeah.
For this,
I don't think they meant it either, though. I'm going to be honest with you. Just like bring us your tired, your weary, your poor, or all men are created equal. I've said before that those slogans, separation of church and state, bring us your tired, your weary, your poor, and all men are created equal. It's just like when a relative tells you at a funeral, if you need anything, call me. They're just telling you that to make you feel better. They don't actually want you to call them for shit. They're just telling you that during your time of mourning to make you feel better. They don't mean it. And I don't believe America meant any of those statements.
That's the old version of what is now the new version of thoughts and prayers.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
It's like, there was this horrible thing that happened, and we could have done something to prevent it, but all we're gonna give you is thoughts.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
And again, I'm not against people owning guns to protect themselves in their home. I'm 100% for that. But I know people who are responsible gun owners who train their children how to respect the firearms, who train their children how to properly use them and do everything right. And they're not running out in the middle of the night trying to kill people, saying, I need to do this, I need to defend this and whatnot. They're not going shooting up churches and all of this other BS. These are responsible people. But the narratives, and that's what you got to pay attention to. The narratives that they want to string along is like, well, if we make any kind of changes, they're going to try and take their guns away. No, we're not. Yeah. I mean,
well, I got to move it on, but they're going by Beto O'Rourke, who came out and admitted, you're damn right, we're going to take away your AR-15. So some liberals have said it, but I do got to move it on, Uncle James. Appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you, sir. Remember, it's always Uncle James, not Uncle Tom.
That's the name they give me. So appreciate it. Come on back anytime. I get called Uncle Tom, Sambo, Uncle Ruckers by every black person that sees the name, or better yet, the hat, and not listen to the program. I get called that on every single show. I think it's happened a couple times today already. Tim, can I come up shortly for the stock topic? We'll check in a minute. How do hopes and prayers help school kids? It doesn't at all, Lisa. It really doesn't at all. And before we continue on, I will just say this. If you look at the Democrats, let's talking about mass shootings. Democrats believe it is the easy access to guns. The Republicans think the Democrats are crazy. I get it. But when you look at Democratic areas, since they believe it is the easy access to guns, Democrats pass all these laws oftentimes trying to limit access to guns, limit the capacity of things. A lot of them get shot down, but you see Democrats trying to pass laws to address what they think the problem is. Republicans think the Democrats are stupid and easy access to guns has nothing to do with mass casualty events. We can debate that all day. But you see what the Democrats think the problem is, and you see what they're trying to do in the areas. Republicans, on the hands, don't think the gun is the problem at all. They believe it's mental health. Totally different than the Democrats. However, when you go in Republican areas, they're not doing shit to address mental health. They believe the problem is mental health. It's not easy access to guns. But they're not passing any laws in Republican areas to address mental health. There should be mental health facilities all over red states. You shouldn't even need health insurance. If you believe mental illness is why folks are being shot up, schools are being blasted every damn where, it should be mental health facilities and all sorts of laws being passed in red states to address mental illness. They're not. There's no major laws addressing mental, and I see in the comments, Pep says there are. Where are all the laws? You guys name me some of the laws you're seeing in Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, to make it easier to get mental health. What if you don't have any health care at all? Do you see in red states where it is easier to get mental health treatment than it is in blue states, where they constantly passing laws to address the mentally ill and take care of them. I don't see it. I have not seen anything resembling that. I don't believe it's any easier for someone with a mental health issue to be treated in a red state than it is in a blue state, even though the politicians in the red states believe mental illness is a major problem. Lowering prescriptions, perhaps, for anxiety or depression drugs, making it easier to afford to be able to see a doctor. I don't see that happening in red states. Am I getting it wrong? Look at it in the comments. I'm in Virginia, and there's a lot of mental health facilities here. Is it easier to get mental health treatment in Virginia than in Pennsylvania or in New York? Is it cheaper? Is the prescriptions that they often write, are they easier to get? I don't see it. I don't see it. Perhaps maybe there's something happening that I'm overlooking, but I don't hear them bragging about that. How much better they've made it for folks going through mental health issues. In fact, if you have a mental health issue, it's damn near impossible to take away your firearm. I don't see it. Brother, I have been in 2 states, and it's very hard to get health without insurance. It's sad, says Theodore. That's what I tend to believe, because folks on the right consider it a freebie to help you get things that you can't afford. Socialism. You didn't earn that. Just like with universal health care, they weren't fans of that in red areas. That's what you would use to get mental health if you couldn't afford it. Naeem says the difference between us, if Biden was facing 98 charges, his GoFundMe would be emptier than in a library in a Florida high school. I actually do agree with that. I don't believe that if Biden was facing a host of felony charges, Democrats would be yelling it's a witch hunt. I don't believe that. Just like when Bill Clinton was being held accountable for what he was doing, folks were saying that, yeah, he got his you-know-what sucked. But in terms of a crime like perjury, what Bill Clinton ended up being impeached for, I don't think people were saying it was a witch hunt. He lied. He got on TV, said, I didn't have sex with that woman. Jay Leno was on TV every damn night making fun of him. I do agree that if Biden was facing the same charges as Trump, the Democrats wouldn't have his back like that. Hell, you got Democrats saying Obama didn't do nothing for Chicago. I do believe the Democrats hold their leadership to a higher account than the Republican Party. How many folks have lost their jobs from the Me Too movement alone? We'll get rid of folks right and left. Al Franken up in Minnesota? The least bit discretion. Goodbye. Governor Cuomo in New York, goodbye. We get rid of our folks. George Santos? How much shit had to come out on Congressman Santos before the Republicans finally said, all right, maybe he got to go? So I do believe that the Democrats are a bit tougher on their candidates. That's not necessarily a good thing in this current environment. Perhaps the liberals need to back their politicians the way the Republicans do. So I don't know if it's a good thing. Looking in the comments, by the way, tap the screen. 800 plus of you here. We're damn near close to 100,000. Should easily be able to do 110. Tried to bring coffee up. We'll see if the box allows coffee to come in. And apparently it's not. Coffee, unfortunately, yeah, I can hear you, but I can't see you, and nobody else is going to hear you, so I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I can't, but nobody would be able to hear you. I don't know why it's doing that. It is doing it with some guests and not others. We'll try and see what happens with Joey Bag of Donuts. Good, and once again, it's doing it again with this guest. Just bear with me for a second here, okay? Maybe he dropped out. The man of my very own name, Tim. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Tim.
Hey.
4 more years of Biden. Got any problems with that?
I mean, it kind of scares me.
What scares you about Joseph R. Biden getting reelected?
Look, I don't care he's old and like he's like falling off stage, doesn't know where he's going or anything like that. I'm more worried about his administration and what's been done. Do you think our nation, my question I pose to you is a serious question. Do you think we can endure 4 more years of inflation that we have currently?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think that America has made it through a Great Depression. The way we're living right now, I don't see people eating their dog because they don't have any food. It's not exactly Gaza. I agree inflation is one up, but you can still go to the store and buy a big screen TV for fairly cheap. Employment salaries have went up somewhat. It's not Armageddon. I don't think it's that bad.
I think it's the verge of it, though. Yeah, that's why I'm saying the 4 more years. Like, I don't know if we can endure as a country 4 more years.
I would need to see a significant degrading of the American economy to buy in what you're saying. Any fast food restaurant I go by, the line is still long. Olive Garden, Red Lobster, people still showing up to eat. You watch any NBA game, or we're in spring training now with baseball, the seats are still filled. All of those are luxury items. I don't see where any of these places are saying that the casinos, ain't nobody showing up to gamble because they're all broke. I'm not hearing any of that.
Well, you're just watching what you see on TV. Yeah,
I am going to casinos and fast food restaurants and games. I'm actually attending this stuff. I'm not seeing where I'm at the game by myself.
A lot of my friends are. I do okay. I will consider myself like upper middle class, but like I see a lot of my friends. They're like losing their houses. They're getting second jobs. They're doing all kinds of stuff, and it'll be like, "Oh, the unemployment number is so low." But a lot of people have second jobs now. You know. I side hustle on the side. You know?
I remember George W. Bush joking and saying having 2 jobs was the American way. I remember during the Trump administration where there was a big fight against raising the minimum wage that Bernie Sanders was promoting. I don't remember folks at the bottom bragging about how great they were doing during the Trump administration. I just remember him saying that those areas where people were poor were just shithole areas. Being from Chicago, go ahead.
Oh, no, I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry if I did. Yeah, I remember him saying that too.
Yeah.
But, like, if you really, like, if it's, these are 2 choices. Like, you really going to go back for Biden?
Well, I don't believe Biden is a know-all, end-all, but I do have a big problem with deliberate division. You know, what are the Trump side of the aisle say, fuck your feelings. I think that's about the most divisive thing you can tell somebody. You know, even if your policies are what's best for this country, to look a voter in the eye and say, fuck you. I don't care what you think. I'm going to talk and say how is that trying to unify people? Why would you do that?
Well, look, like, I pretty much, like, and I know I'm MAGA, right? So, like, I'm a MAGA dude. Mm-hmm. Like, so.
Nothing wrong with that.
Do you think I'm racist?
Do I believe? I don't know you well enough to make a statement like that. I don't believe everybody who says they're MAGA is racist. Huh?
I didn't make statements that says these evil MAGA Republicans that are racist.
Well, and he does. Yes, and he does. And I will say this in regards to Biden claiming that MAGA is racist. I say this all the time, that if you are a Republican debating with liberals, eventually somebody's going to call you a racist, because the left side of the aisle throws around the racist word because it demonizes. However, the adverse to that is, if you are a liberal debating with Republicans, eventually somebody's going to call you a socialist, because they do the same thing with the socialism word. The liberals, everything is racist. The Republicans, everything is socialist. Neither side often gets it right. They both do it.
Well, I'll take I'll land my plane, take off on this comment. Like,
sure.
What do you think needs to happen to fix this country?
It depends on, well, let me just say this right off the bat. You're never going to, quote unquote, fix this country, because anybody's opinion of what needs to be done to fix this country is actually destroying it for somebody else. Let's say, for instance, let's say I believe that transgender folks should be treated equally. Well, I'm destroying the country to somebody who is anti-transgender. Or if I say I believe that the average citizen should have to go through more stringent background checks to own a firearm. Well, to somebody who believes it shall not be infringed, I'm destroying it to them. So you can never fix the country with so many different opinions and ideals in it. I mean, in my own personal belief, if I was to answer your question, I would answer it from this standpoint. I would criticize whatever administration is in charge. Right now, Biden, I would say his number one issue is just letting anybody in the country unvetted. I believe he could do more at the border than he's done. Now, he did try to pass a border bill, and Trump had it shot down, but that was 3 years into his term. So to me, Biden's biggest failure is the border. Huh?
There's a lot of pork in that bill too, though.
Like helping the Ukraine and helping out Israel?
Yeah.
That would happen under Trump. I really, maybe not. Go ahead.
My bigger problem is with Congress. Like, why can't Congress just say, hey, we're going to vote on border control and not link all this stuff in this bill, and then we'll address Israel, then we'll address Ukraine. Well, separately issues.
They're throwing it in there because they know if you do what you said, fix the border, and then we'll talk about Ukraine and talk about Israel, the answer is going to be we're not doing shit for the Ukraine or Israel. But I will also say that you got Republican congressmen stepping up and saying that they were told, if you work with Biden on the border, we're going to destroy your career. So even if Biden had have taken out, or the liberals rather, had have taken out assistance to the Ukraine and assistance to Israel, I don't think that Trump would have favored the border bill, even if it was only on the border, because he needs the border to be chaotic to get reelected. So you're not going to fix the border under Biden. There's no way to do it, because the Republicans need that to remain the way it is until Trump runs for office. So there's nothing Biden can do.
I think on both sides they're playing silly games. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's frustrating because there's so much we can do. We are still the greatest country in the world, I believe, but it's a lot of stagnant action. I just don't understand why we can't address one issue at a time and then ultimately, like, become a better place, yeah.
Well, and it's for the same reason I just told you. If we sit down and have a conversation, you said let's address one issue at a time. Your issue may be the border is screwed up. Let's address that first. My issue may be, the LGBT community is being mistreated. So we address your issue. When it comes around to mine, you're going to be the hell with that. So they're squeezing them all in together, because we know if you do it individually, some people are going to get completely left out.
How do you feel? Okay, this is a good question here. How do you feel the LGBTF community or whatever is being mistreated?
Oh, wow. The notion that they're passing laws to prevent a biological male from playing with a female team, which is something I totally disagree with. But to pass a law when 99.99% of American schools ain't even dealing with that shit, I think it's demonizing the LGBT community to the point where you could have folks getting injured. To suggest that I don't want a biological male going into a female bathroom because somehow they're going to turn into a pedophile when they get in there. Constantly confusing the LGBT community with abusers of children is yet another case of just hatred toward the community that could get people killed. I don't think that any of this stuff is significant to the level that the Republicans are making it. I don't agree with everything that's going on, but they're making a mountain out of a molehill. This stuff is not happening in most of the country, but they make it sound like it's happening everywhere.
Well, when was the last time you saw a girl transition to a male that played any sport with the men?
I haven't.
Crickets?
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but if you listen to the Republicans, every team in the country has a transgender male trying to play for it.
Yeah, oh no, I'll let you get going so somebody else can jump in the box.
All right.
I appreciate you letting me in the box, and I always enjoy conversations with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. Come on back anytime. All right, look in the comments, and I see someone said, I don't care. And I don't, look, the problem is when you demonize people, folks buy into that, and it puts that person at risk. We've often talked about referring to immigrants as rapists and murderers, poisoning the blood of this country, invading the country. And then folks say, well, I'm not really against immigrants. I just want them to come legally. When you start suggesting that the folks coming here illegally are demons coming to just murder everybody, you kind of make an environment where it's, you know, it's open season on them. I've said this before, even though I lean left, I don't care if somebody takes out a murderer or takes out a rapist or takes out somebody that's going to invade this country. If I was alive on December 7th, 1941, when the Japanese attacked America, I don't care if any Japanese soldier whose plane was shot down or who surrendered. I wouldn't care if that person got executed. He's an invader. I don't give a damn what happens once you invade the country to you. So when people believe that stuff, you create an environment where it's you're free to victimize them. Who's going to complain? If a bunch of folks go to the border and they're accused of murdering a bunch of illegal immigrants, well, they're rapists and murderers. You really think there's going to be a stomach to punish, prosecute folks who took out a bunch of rapists and murderers? No, you did the country a favor. So you create an open season environment, no different than, say, the purge. So I believe language can really get people in trouble. And Trump is really painting illegal immigrants to be nothing short of demons. I think he's going way overboard on that. Looking in the comments, though, same goes for the border invasion. That's the point I'm making. I don't think it's an invasion. I think that's a horrible, horrible term to use, because invaders are coming to either hurt people or just do harm in general. I mean, do you believe the average person coming to the country undocumented is coming here to harm everybody? I really believe that you create an environment where people would be free to do whatever they want to them. Continuing on, though, we'll go to Eugene McGinnis. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. I'm having some significant problems with the bots. And once again, Eugene, I don't see you. So some of you folks, it brings up where we can discuss where everybody can hear it. And then sometimes you bring someone up, nothing pops up. Let's try it again with Shrimp Man. I don't know if you need to reset your side or what's going on my side, but Shrimp Man, I do believe is coming up. Good afternoon. Well, he came up and went out. No damn invasion, says Lighting 22. I don't see where the term invasion should be used. I just don't. I think that is a very, very dangerous term to use, but a lot of folks believe it. Good afternoon, King. Welcome to the program.
Hey, what's going on, Ansel?
Not much at all. 4 more years of Biden. You down with that?
Hell yeah. Yes. I'm so down with 4 more years of Biden. I'm riding with Biden and we got 20s on the truck. You dig? Better than the boot that Trump about to have on his car.
I'm hearing that Biden would destroy this country economically. What say you?
Come on, man. You know damn well that's not going to happen. Biden has too much of a cabinet in place to fix the economy. Everybody talking about, oh, Biden going to destroy the economy. How? Because you had to pay a little bit more? Because you might have to pay a little bit more? This is all stuff that we all knew was coming. The economy was already screwed up. Your boy Trumpy done did that, bruh.
What about the border?
Tax cut.
What about the border?
The border? I'm not trying to hear nothing about the border, bruh. I understand that people are coming here illegally. Okay, I get that. But that ain't, that's not what we finna do.
Wait a minute, you're okay with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions coming into this country unvetted? You don't know where the hell they came from. You don't know where they're at once they're in the country. You're okay with that? King Finn apparently had a phone call. I wanted to continue that one on for sure. Well, moving on. Apparently had how many have you seen? Says Damon. Depends on where you're at depends on where you're at in America. I'm in a city where I don't have to deal with a lot of immigrants in this town. But if you're in the border towns, for instance, or if you're in places where Abbott and DeSantis is sending folks, you're seeing bunches of them. Fact is, they're coming. Even if you're not seeing them, they are here. There's no denying that a hell of a lot of, even under the Trump administration, I believe they admit over 1 million folks came during his term. They are here, whether you're seeing them or not. And folks coming into the country unvetted. I'm not here to say they're invaders or they're poisoning the blood or none of that crazy shit. But I will admit, if you don't know anything about the person coming into the country, that's not a good idea. That's not safe. Understand what just happened in Russia, for instance. Just last week, they had a ISIS-K terror attack. You don't need a lot of people to do a hell of a lot of damage. You just don't. Certainly in America, where anybody who comes here could easily acquire firearms once they get here because we make it so damn easy for people to get armed and purchase weapons. You can just come here empty-handed and have somebody, hand you a few long rifles and some extended mags or whatever and turn you loose on the general population. Shopping mall, school basketball game, a professional sports event, concert. There are so many soft targets all over the country. So letting folks in by the thousands, by the tens of thousands that you don't know who they are, you only need a handful of them to do something bad. If you had 5 or 6 folks commit a mass casualty act, let's say in New York, couple days later, a few of them do it in Houston, a few of them do it in Los Angeles, you could really shut down the way we do business in this country with only a few people. 5 or 6 of them do it in this city within the span of a week or two. People will be scared every damn where. You could really shut down the country. So I do believe you need to know who is coming into the nation. I do believe that part. And under Biden, that's not happening. So I don't absolve Biden of blame for that. That's a problem. Looking at the comments, how many school shootings happened last year? Let me bring that up. Now, when we talk about the potential for terrorism from unknowns coming into the border, I don't believe countering it with domestic terrorism is really much of an argument. Yeah, there's a major problem with domestic terrorists in this country, but that don't mean you just ignore the border because there are more Americans shooting people up than folks coming in. No, you can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. What's coming in at the border needs to be vetted. I get it that more mass casualty events in this country, in fact, all of them damn near are happening by Americans. I get it, but that don't mean you just ignore the border because most of the folks doing this stuff is American. You can do both. Sandy, should the people being let in get free stuff? I mean, to some degree, you gotta, if someone claims asylum and they're allowed to come into the country and they're completely broke, I mean, what do? You let them starve to death? You tell them you got to get to work right away? Of course you're going to have to take care of them for a little bit of time. Now, the free stuff, EBT cards, give them a cell phone, things like, you don't want them getting a driver's license. You don't want them driving or doing things. You don't want them compete with Americans for jobs. So they have to eat. If you don't want them working, you don't want them driving, but you don't want to give them free stuff, I don't know how it works out. One way or another, they have to survive. You certainly don't want them committing crimes. So you can only be so harsh before it stops making sense. I mean, you're going to either have to give them something free or you're going to have to let them work. And then you can't complain that they're competing with Americans for jobs because you didn't want to give them nothing to eat for free. Joe 2 Wolves. Work, not free stuff, says Marvin Davis. Yeah, but if they work, you're going to complain that they're competing with Americans for jobs. That's the point I'm making, is that there is no good outcome. No matter what happens, you're going to say at the end of the day, the solution is what folks don't want to admit is the solution. And that is, I don't want them here at all. That's the only way a lot of folks are going to be happy. I don't want them here at all. I don't want them here working. I don't want them here getting free stuff. I don't want them here at all. But to say that is anti-immigrant. So you can't say that. You have to come up with other things to fill the blanks in. But that is the answer, is that I don't want them here at all. Let's try it again. Palestinian Jew. That name always... Palestinian Jew, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You got a major echo.
Oh, is it better now?
It's getting, sound like you're way away from the mic or something.
No, I'm
Okay, you're better now. You're better now. So we're talking about 4 more years of Biden. Now, in regards to your name, Palestinian Jew, in regards to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, where do you lie?
I'm definitely on the side of the Palestinians.
Okay. Do you think Biden is a good commander in chief?
Even though I was born and raised in Israel. Now listen, as to Biden is a wuss, and he should step down and let somebody really liberal step up, like Van Halen. He's the only senator who has the balls to stand up and point the genocide of the Palestinian people. No other congressman, except for OAC, Cortez, who was talking about this. But Van Halen is a man of, is an impressive guy. If he ran for, Biden is going to lose the election. He's going to lose the election in Michigan alone. Michigan and Minnesota are not going to vote for Biden.
Who is this person? Van Halen. You're not. Now that's a rock star.
Van Halen, yeah, he's a senator from Maryland. Look him up. He is one impressive guy. He's the only senator, other than Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, his time is gone. He should be running, but he's even older than Biden.
And this senator's name is Van. I don't know. I don't think I know who you're talking about. Van Halen.
His name is Van Halen. Yeah. What's his first name?
Eddie.
Get his first name. Look him up. Van Halen. Yeah. He's a Democrat. He's a very liberal Democrat. You think you're
Van Hollen. I see folks in the comments who say Van Hollen. Okay. Van Halen is a rock group. Okay. All right. Not Van Halen. Van Hollen. So. What about Trump? Do you think Trump would be a good guy for that conflict to get it over with?
No, Trump is a garbage, man. Trump, forget. Listen, if you ever changed anybody's mind on your life, I know you're liberal. If you ever change any of the Republicans that come up on your life to challenge you, if you ever change their mind.
Oh yeah, on a host of issues.
I bet you know they won.
That's not true. I don't change who they're going to vote for, but in regards to how they view issues, we change hearts and minds all the damn time. Yeah, a lot of things.
You're changing hearts and minds all the damn time enough to not vote for Trump.
No,
vote for Biden?
Not on who they're going to vote for. No, not on who they're going to vote for. Not at all.
Hey, listen. The people who are voting for Trump are going to vote for Trump. They're never going to vote for Biden, no matter what happens. So you're really wasting your time, and you should take that hat behind you that says "Make America Great Again." Throw it in the fucking trash, man. You cannot. This is crazy. I don't know why you're wasting your time with these people.
Why should I throw?
It's a complete waste of time. They're morons. They'll never change their mind, and you'll never change their mind.
So you believe
we need to organize around getting a candidate that can win this election.
So wait a minute. So you believe Trump supporters are morons?
Yeah, if you vote for Trump, you're a moron.
Why?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because he's a racist pig. He's a racist liar, convicted, soon to be a convicted felon. Why would you want to vote for somebody with this character? As the president of the free world, as the leader of the free world, should be a flawless character. Flawless.
Do you think
anything about him?
Do you think Biden or Obama were flawless?
I think Obama was pretty damn close to flawless, man. Obama was pretty damn close to flawless. Absolutely. Absolutely. Obama was pretty. Biden, I have a problem with Biden, to be honest with you, for his background. But, people can change, and he may have changed, and I think Bernie Sanders helped a lot to change Biden's mind. But he he voted with the segregationists back when he first started. He was a piece of shit too back then. He came around. He came around to resemble more of a human being than he used to be. But listen, he will not get elected. He will not win this election. He's got to step down. The sooner the better. He's got to step down yesterday, and don't bring up anybody who supports Israel right now in this.
Okay, but what? Okay, look, I get yours. Okay, hang on. I get your stance on what's going on in Israel, but in regards to what's happening in America, because most folks in this country, even though they're concerned about what's happening over there, they're concerned more about their own bread and butter, immigration, and things like that here. Who should we put in to run this country properly?
Also not Biden. Who should be put look, as far as immigration, I think there should be an open border, complete open border. We can go down to Mexico anytime we want. Nobody checks our visa. We got in a car, we drive through Tijuana, we're in Mexico, nobody asks any questions, nobody calls us illegal, nobody arrests us, nobody. This country is racist against black and brown people, there's no denying it. Any European can fly into this country, no visa, no questions asked coming. We can go to Europe anytime. Why not let everybody come in and out freely as they can? Because we are freaking racist. That's why they're not bringing crimes, and they're not bringing more crimes here than we bring crimes over there. Number one.
Now, in the comment, hold on. In the comments, Randruck points out a good point. Every country has a border. You're saying America should just let anybody who wants to come in here, let them in.
Yeah, they should let him in and give him some kind of work permit temporarily. And look, if you want to become, there's a way to become a citizen of the country if you want to vote here. So you establish residency, you establish the fact, you have no criminal background. And after 5 years or whatever of permanent residency, you're entitled to citizenship, and you get your citizenship, and you don't have to run away from anybody or hide from anybody.
I can't.
You have to prove that you're a model resident, that you contribute to society. But listen, doing this type of thing against Central and South Americans is really slavery, really. I mean, it's something.
So wait a minute, though. You, with a name like Palestinian Jew, do you believe Israel should do the same thing? Just let anybody in there?
Absolutely. One country, one state, no two-state solution. That's garbage. That will never work. One state solution, one person, one vote in this whole area, and call it Palestine. Don't call it Israel anymore. Zionism should be outlawed like Nazism was outlawed.
So Israel should
be outlawed.
Israel should open.
Nazism was outlawed.
Israel should open up. Israel should open up their borders and get rid of their own name and name the country Palestine. Do you think Israelis are okay with that?
They should allow free and fair election to all the residents of that land. Everybody. What's wrong with having free and fair election?
You try to get.
And you outlaw terrorism. There's more Jewish terrorism than there is Palestinian terrorism. Absolutely, the whole Israeli establishment and Israel is a terror organization. It really is. It's a criminal terror. Look, the UN voted everybody to nothing. They defy international laws, they defy any laws, they don't give a fuck about anybody, and they want to control the whole world. That's what they want to do. Wow. They start with Palestine, and then they're gonna fucking take over all the Arab countries, and then pretty soon they're gonna come and take over America. Listen, all the politicians in the USA are bought and paid for by the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee. They own all the politicians. They have mega billions of dollars, and they buy them all to support Israel, but it's complete trash. Look what's happening in the world.
All right. Listen, I don't agree on any of that. I got to move it on, but listen. I don't believe Israel. I don't believe Israel's trying to take over the world, as you said, but I do got to move it on. Palestinian Jew, by the way, that's a hell of a name for what you're saying. Moving the program, look, and I see some folks are suggesting his language is anti-Semitic. Yeah, probably a little bit there. The guy is anti-American too. He's Palestinian. He's pro-Palestinian. I think that's about the only thing I could see there. Matt in Texas said he doesn't know what he's talking about. He was doing a pretty good job. What happened? Lisa in Code Jam. I don't know why I couldn't bring you up, Lisa. Certainly something's going on with the box. Let's continue it on, though. We'll go to Matt, Texas, who suggests he was doing such a great job, and once again, the box is acting up. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get your boy on up to 125,000. We still got 808 in here, 800 plus of you in here. Certainly on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. You enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle without any concern of the host, block, banning, or censoring anyone. This is a free speech program. We do believe in letting folks speak. It's never about telling you how you should think, always about hearing what you have to say. So everybody gets to speak. You disagree with yours truly, nobody gives a damn. That's how free speech works. Going to the box, try it again with Ginger Beard. Good afternoon. I don't know what the hell's going on with this. We're having some significant trouble seeing the guests, and if I can't see them, you guys won't hear them. So I'm able to, everybody I'm bringing up can hear me, but the problem is you won't be able to hear them. Let me try one other one here. Clinton Walston. Looks like the box will work for Clinton. Tim, you might need to update the app. Okay, I will try that. Clinton, good afternoon.
Yeah, what's going on?
Biden, 4 more years. What say you?
Hell no.
What's so bad about Biden?
Hell, it's the economy. Look at all the people he's crossed.
What do you mean people you think Biden has crossed more people than Trump?
No, I'm talking about look at all the people it's undocumented he's crossed. I mean, did you not see that guy on social media said, they asked him who he was, and he said, you'll find out soon enough who I am. And he come out to be on the terrorist watch list.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I have seen that. So what your suggestion is that Biden is putting this country in danger with the border?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, you can look at it either way. Trump's done, I think, good things, and Biden's done okay things. I mean, but no, my pocketbook says hell to the no on some 4 more years of that.
So you think Trump would get the economy in order? Now, some folks are suggesting that it's not Biden's economy, but price gouging that's causing all these problems.
Okay, if it was price gouging, why wasn't they price gouging under Trump?
They didn't have a pandemic to orchestrate it. They're saying that they used the pandemic to, the suggestion that they were trying to make up lost revenue, and they used it as an excuse to price gouge.
Well, I mean, yeah, you got to understand. I mean, everybody in Washington has got their, whether you're Democrat or Republican, got their hand in the cookie jar, and that's the problem. I mean, I think they are just going there and wipe. No, I'm talking about when I'm talking about this fire all of some bitches, get them out of Washington and restart.
Would that include Trump?
Well, he ain't in Washington right now.
Okay. Do you think? Let me ask you this: out of the 9 candidates, everybody from Vivek Ramaswamy to Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, do you think Trump really was the best choice?
I wouldn't say the best choice, but I guess a lot of other people do. I mean, I think he done okay when he was in office because, a single dad of 3, we've talked about this. I call in all the time, and I love your show.
Thank you.
And the thing about it is, my dad lost, he's retired, my mom's retired, and disabled and stuff, and they lost, a lot of money in the stock market under Biden so far. And when Trump was in office, they were living good, and I was living, pretty good for what I make under 3 kids.
But how do you respond to folks who talk about Trump being very divisive for this country?
Can you elaborate a little more on that?
Oh man, everything from shitholes to his Twitter account. I mean, Black Lives Matter as a terrorist group. I mean, Trump was constantly in fights.
Well, I mean, he likes to run his mouth, just like, you gotta remember now, not nowhere near as much as Trump. Joe Biden's run his mouth. Remember, he invited him behind the barn, remember?
Wait. Say, what did you say?
I said, remember, Joe Biden offered to take Trump behind the barn, He's run his mouth about a few things, but, that ain't never brought up about stuff, though, I'd like to see Joe Biden and Trump fight. I mean, come on, let's get that on pay-per-view, you know.
Oh my God, this ain't Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. So you want to see these two 70-plus-year-old men? Well, Biden is now in his 80s. You want to see these two elderly men fight each other?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be the orange man against the bicycle boy. I mean, come on.
Bicycle boy, oh my God. So at the end of the day, though, you think that Trump was really effective at running this country?
Well, I mean, you know, a lot of people don't, you know, calls into your show, and I mean, opinions like rear ends, everybody's got one.
That is true.
And, you know, the thing about it is, you know, this country has to be run like a business. It has to. I mean, you know, if you don't have more coming in than it's going out, then you go under. And, you know, by taking people in, you know, millions and millions of people in on a monthly, yearly basis, whatever, I mean, that's just adding more problems to the country.
I mean, I can get where you're coming from, but where I disagree is you mentioned Biden's divisiveness. I think Trump enjoyed being divisive, and I think that's a problem.
Well, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's like you said before a few days ago. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday. You know, was your pocketbook better off under Biden, or was your pocketbook better off under Trump?
Well, I think some Americans. Let me. Since we're talking about that, real quick in the comments, folks, just simply type Trump or Biden. Financially, who were you doing better under, Trump or Biden? I'd be curious to see in the comments. I don't believe everybody was doing better under Trump. Clinton.
Well, I mean, if you're working, you got a job, and you know gas is lower, groceries is lower, and I'm not saying that you know Biden raised the groceries. I'm saying that yeah, a lot of that is price gouging. You're correct. You're absolutely correct. But in my term, my source, what I see, what I know, I mean, you know, when we were given you know $1.10 per egg, and then we're giving $3 and $4 for eggs, that's ridiculous. I mean, it don't cost no more to feed them chickens in, does then.
Yeah. And I'm looking on YouTube. My YouTube audience almost unanimously said Trump. So I must got a lot more folks on, a lot more MAGA on YouTube than on here. But so
making America great. I mean, go ahead.
You say it was making America great. I see all the division, the summer of love with all the Black Lives Matter riots and things like that. I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Now, this is kind of on the topic, but off topic. Y'all brought up in January the insurrection, they said.
Yeah.
Okay, there was another, what was it, a Palestine or something? There was a group that went down there and went in and pretty much done the same thing, but they were never charged. Why is Americans being charged to go you know, when they went in the Capitol, why are they being charged for going in their own country's capital that their tax dollars paid for, and these other people's not being? That's not right.
Because they were talking about, because the Americans that went in the Capitol building were talking about murdering people.
Well, other than the lady who got shot, other than that.
Well, they talked about murdering the vice president. They were bear spraying police officers, beating up cops. They did a lot more than just winning the building.
But that falls into the part where you were talking about, you know, a few bad apples. It only takes few.
Well, I get your point about a few bad apples, but the building was closed that day, so there really were no good apples in that bunch.
You talked about the building being closed that day, but when it's Washington never open for business because they don't really do nothing.
Well, I'm gonna have to move it in because it sounds like you got something going on in the background. But at the end of the day, you're talking about the entire Senate, the entire congressional body being in the building on the same day, and these folks going there to express their anger. That's just, you can't do what happened on January 6th. Even if you believe that building belongs to the taxpayers and things like that, you can't do that. I mean, you're putting everybody at risk. Just like we're talking about folks coming into the country unvetted, we don't know who they are. Nobody knew who those people were on January 6th. None of them had been pat down for weapons or checked. They were unvetted. They were exactly what you were suggesting the immigrants were. None of these people have been checked for weapons, checked for criminal background or anything. And you're going to let them march into the Capitol building when all of our heads of state are there, all of Congress, all of the Senate, and you just got hundreds of unvetted people showing up. Nothing could happen there, huh? So I will have to say from that aspect, you can't let that happen under the guise, well, this building belongs to the people. You don't even know if those are Americans. You just know it's a bunch of folks shouting out angry shit. So no, you can't let that happen. That can never happen again. Looking in the comments, I'm confused. How did that woman beat those men through the window? She didn't, Joshua, when you're talking about Ashley Babbitt, she didn't beat anybody through the window. She was the nearest to it. And you're talking about the African-American, I'm going to say law enforcement. I guess he was Capitol Police, but he wasn't in uniform. You got folks cowering behind him. He has a firearm telling the protesters do not come forward. Now, they got a window up. And if you look at the video, not only do they got a barricade from the protesters, they don't put furniture up against the barricade. So they clearly are frightened to death. And the protesters don't beat through the window and are in the process of trying to climb over the barricade. How is that not a justifiable shoot? Is the cops supposed to just stand down and let all these folks come through all of that? So, because there's a lot, and the reason why I'm asking that question, a lot of folks believe that Ashley Babbitt was wrongfully, unjustifiably shot. In my opinion, anybody that was involved in that, you deserve what's coming to you. And I say this all the time. I don't care if it's a police officer or a bank robber. If someone is pointing a firearm at you and yelling instructions, ignoring those instructions can come at your peril. Cop, bank robber, your neighbor, anybody is aiming a firearm at you and yelling for you to do some shit, ignoring that can lead to your loss of life. It's as simple as that. Ashley Babbitt was ignoring the instructions being yelled at her. That's what happens. That is what happens. We tell that to folks who disobey police officers all the time. If you had to comply, this wouldn't have happened. He was a police officer. She was not compliant. In fact, the whole damn crowd was not compliant. To some degree, they're probably fortunate he only fired one shot. My opinion, we've seen cops empty their firearms. They were justified. He was about to be overran. So I don't see an issue with that. I understand a lot of folks favor Ashley Babbitt or favor the movement. So you have a different opinion. You know, I don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their opinion. You can disagree. Nobody's going to censor you here. But I don't expect a cop who is protecting citizens that are cowering behind him to allow you to break through a window, climb over a barricade, and come towards them. No, cop, you wouldn't do that in your house. It doesn't matter if it's the taxpayers' building. Your local police station is owned by the taxpayers. If the chief of police barricades himself in his office and puts his desk against the door, you can just come over all of that because it's your building, right? You believe that is allowable? That's crazy. That's crazy. She knew what she was doing was wrong. She's in the military. Ashley Babbitt was an Air Force veteran. She knew what she was doing was wrong. It cost her her life. It's as simple as that. Don't ignore the law because you favor the movement. The law is the law. She violated it. She's dead. That's what happens. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I do appreciate the likes. You know what we got to do around this time? 130,000. 1 p.m. Central. See you tomorrow. Thank you for you folks on YouTube. Regardless if she could hear, she was breaking in. Look, the notion that Ashley Babbitt could not hear is insane. She couldn't hear. Oh my, you could see the man with a gun. You could see you're climbing through a broken window. And if you go on YouTube and look up the footage, you can see overturned chairs, desks. They had literally put barricades against the window that they were about to climb through. Those folks were frightened. You don't need the ability to hear if you're Ashley Babbitt to know what you're doing is wrong. You can see this person on the other side is scared of you. They're aiming a gun at you. The window is laced with furniture. They don't want you in here. You don't even need to hear to know what you're doing is wrong. She decided to continue on. She got shot. That's what happens. Ashley Babbitt would be a perfect example, whether you agree or not, of somebody who fucked around and found out. It's your boy Tim, 1 p.m. Central. See you tomorrow.